Hi, this is Bill Abel with the Logos Learning Team. Thank you for attending today's live teaching, Enhance Your Language Study with Morphology Tools. I'm here to help you use Logos a little bit more effectively so that you can make the most of your time in study. You will get a link to a recording of this session about an hour after we finish it. So you can view that as many times as you want for the next 30 days. I am using the desktop app today, loaded with the most current version of Logos Max. If you are following along in the mobile app, or you're on the web app, or if you have an older version of Logos, like Logos 8 or 9 or 10 perhaps, things might look a little different for you, and you might not see all the tools that I show here today. If you have any questions about something that might be missing, email me and I'll make sure to get you squared away as soon as I can. Also, this session is about 45 minutes long. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer than that, especially if there are questions. Now, if you can't stay until the end, I completely understand that. If you're only here for 30 minutes or whatever it is, I completely understand that. Just do me a favor and please take the survey before you go. Now, that survey is located right next to that big Logos logo on the right side of your screen. There's a link that says take survey here. Please click on that and take the survey before you go. Those are very important. I know we get bombarded with surveys all the time. I get it all the time, all day long. You get them on your phone, texts, all kinds of things. But those surveys really serve a purpose for us, and that is to allow us to understand if we're serving you in the way you want us to, or if we need to improve something or change something. So please go ahead. Those are really imperative that it's imperative that you take those surveys. So please go ahead and take that before you go. Now, right underneath that Logos logo, you're going to see where it says chat and it says Q&A. The chat section, I see some of you already filling that out. Put your name in there, where you're logging in from, and perhaps even how long you've used Logos in the past. The chat section is for you. So again, put your name in there and some other information there. If you see someone that you've seen in other webinars and you want to say hi, or you want to you see somebody in another town that's close to you, or if you have questions of the group, then go ahead and put those in the chat section and let others answer you if you want to. If you have a question for me though, please put that in the Q&A. Okay, the Q&A actually has an indicator that says a question's been asked, where the chat does not. So if you put your question in the chat, I likely will miss it. And then I don't want anybody to be upset because I miss it. But please put your questions in the Q&A so that I know there's a question and I know to go back to that and answer that. Okay. All right. Excellent. So you got the chat, you got the Q&A. You also have handouts right next to that. All right. Click on the handout section. There's actually 3 handouts here today in this webinar. One of them is a resource handout, a suggested resource handout. That's going to have some contact information for me and for other people outside the webinar. That's going to have a webinar guide so you can see the classes that I teach. And you can actually register for those by just clicking on the title right there in the guide. And then there's a resource guide. So if you have questions about what commentary should I buy, what lexicon should I buy, what dictionary should I buy, there's some suggestions there. Okay, things that I use that I think that are good and that might help you. You might already have some of them. You might have something that's similar. So just take a look at that guide and then contact our library specialist. You'll see the library specialist phone number on the screen there as well. You can contact them and ask them about those resources. Ask them if you've got something similar, or maybe you can ask them if there's something that you need out of that resource guide. So you've got some options there. There's the other 2 handouts. One is an outline of the class today and what we're going to be covering here today. The other one is actually a key for you for morphological visual filters. We'll go over that later. You don't have to worry about it now, but please download all 3 of those. Make sure you have them. If you have any problems downloading those, email me, let me know, and I will make sure you get those via email. Okay. All right. Now, if you have questions outside the webinar, there's my email address. You are welcome to contact me whenever you need to. All right. I want to make sure that you are having success in Logos, that you are studying the way the things you want to, and you're getting the results that you think you should be getting. So please keep my email address, maybe even write it down, put it next to your computer. If you're studying and you get stuck, email me, let me know. And again, that hotline there for library specialists, they can help you as well. They can help you determine which Logos you have. Sometimes we don't even know that we have an older version, maybe Logos 8 or 9, and we're missing some of the new tools that are out there. So they can help you with that as well. All right. So very key. Use my email address, use that hotline for the library specialist. Make sure that we're answering questions for you. All right. All right. Now we're talking about morphology today. And more specifically, we're talking about tools. Okay. This webinar assumes that you understand the basics of morphology and that you're looking for tools in Logos to help you identify more easily the morphology that's used in the original languages of the text. It's not a Greek or Hebrew morphology class. So I'm not going to teach you morphology. I'm not going to go into detail as to the morphological functions. I might mention some things as I show you and demonstrate the software because I'm going to show you the tools. Okay. So that said, morphology is the study of word formation in language. It's the study of the structure of words. It can be really important as many times English translations, which is what we usually count on to give us the biblical information. Sometimes they don't clearly show the grammar that is used or intended by the original writers, right? And the original languages. So that can change how we understand what is being said, or even sometimes perhaps commanded. So we want to make sure that we, as we continue to grow in our studies, now, if you're a beginner student here of studying the Bible, look at the tools, okay, and see how you can discover what the morphology is. And then you'll start to understand. One of the tools I'm going to show you here today will tell you what the different pieces of grammar actually mean. So you can dig into that as well. Okay. So the what we're going to do then today is we're going to make sure we familiarize you with some of the tools you can use in Logos to study the original language morphology. As I said, we're not going to learn everything about morphology. Okay, it's not a morphological class. It's based on tools that you can use to discover morphology inside the original text. All right, let's turn the camera off. Don't need that on, and we will go to our Logos screen here. Now, before we start, there's a couple of things that we need to make sure are inside of your Logos software. Okay, if you're missing these items, okay, email me and let me know, and I will point you in the right direction for these tools. Okay, there are tools that you have to turn on. There's tools. There's a couple, or there's one that you have to download possibly, and another one that you might not have, that you might have to reach out to our resource specialist, or our library specialist. So let's look at those first. The first tool is called our information tooltips. That's going to show us information inside the text when we are studying the Bible. So let's go in to the bottom left corner of your screen. You see 3 dots that are stacked on each other. This is our help menu. Okay. If you hover on it, you'll see it's our main help menu. Click on that. And then about the middle of the menu there, maybe a little lower than the middle, you're going to see program settings. We want to click on program settings. And that's going to open up this menu, which is our program settings. And then on the left side, you're going to see some labels here. And we're going to scroll down until we see where it says Show Information Tooltips. Now, most of the time, this is already clicked on. So it's the blue is, or the yes is in blue. Okay. Most of the time it's already on, but there are occasions when it's not. And I want to make sure that it is. So make sure that you click on yes and that the blue is there, that it's not gray. If you have, if the yes is in gray, this tool is not on. Make sure the yes is in blue. Okay. So that way you just click it and it should be blue. All right. That's the first one. All right. Next one. This is our morphological database. So we're going to go into our library. I'm going to open this up and you guys can do the same thing. Gals, do the same thing. Just open up your library. In the little search section up here, you're going to type these letters, GMSDT. Those are the letters you're going to type in the search. Logos will find in your library that resource. Okay. Now, if you don't find that resource, if you don't see that, you need to email me. Don't worry about it right now. Follow me on the screen. Okay. But make sure you email me. We need to make sure you have that resource. All right. Now, sometimes it'll pop up here. You'll see it. It's called the Glossary of Morpho-Syntactic Database Terminology. Sometimes it'll pop up here, but it's not actually downloaded. It's actually in your library, but it's not downloaded to your computer. So we're going to right click on the title. And in this little menu, you're going to see some options. All right. If you see the option to download, please click it and download that resource. All right. This is going to give us more opportunity to define grammar as we are searching through Logos. I'm going to show you where that pops up. Okay, so it'll give you more of an opportunity to define individual grammar. If you don't know what an indicative verb is, this resource is going to help you with that as you study. All right, so if you see download, please make sure you click on download. Now, mine doesn't say download because it is downloaded, but it says remove. So if yours says remove on the bottom there, that means it's already downloaded. Okay, so don't worry about it. All right. Again, if you don't have that, can't find it, can't figure it out, email me. We'll make sure on the outside that you get that resource. Okay. It's very important for you. Okay. Let's close out our library. And then the last thing is we're going to go ahead and open our Bible. And inside our Bible, we're going to see a tool called the interlinear. Actually, in our English translations, it's called a reverse interlinear. All right. Now, remember, I'm in the latest version of Logos. I'm in the subscription model, and I'm in Logos Max, okay, on the desktop. So if you see a different view here, or you don't see this tool, it could be related to the fact that you are using a different version, or you just don't have the tool. And if you don't have the tool, you need to email me. Actually, better idea, if you don't have this tool, call your library specialist because they will be able to help you figure out how to add the tool. All right. All right. So we're going to go into our formatting tab. See, or I'm sorry, the view tab. It's called the view over here, right? Click on it. And there's a tool called an interlinear. All right. It's again, actually a reverse interlinear in our English Bibles because it starts with the English translation. So if you see this tool, go ahead and click the arrow. And you should have an on-off button over here. Now, sometimes there's a message that says you do not have this interlinear or you don't have access or whatever. If that's the case, again, talk to your library specialist and you should be able to turn it on if you have it. Okay. And you can turn on your interlinear here. All right. Now, two things about the interlinear. Number one is none of the morphological tools will work if you don't have an interlinear built into your Bible. Okay, so it has to be there. So if you don't have it, we have to correct that. Now, we're not going to correct it here in this class, but I'm going to give you a workaround while we're in the class. All right. So if you don't have it, call your library specialist, tell them what translation you're using, and tell them you do not have the interlinear. You need the interlinear. Okay. Now, I'm using the NASB 1995 translation. When I purchased this a while back, it did not have the interlinear. I had to purchase it separately. Okay. Now they sell them mostly with the interlinear. So, and they include a lot of translations in your libraries that you've purchased with the interlinear. So everybody should have a decent translation, probably one that they really like with an interlinear. But again, sometimes that's not the case. Some translations do not come with the interlinear or do not offer the interlinear. So if that's the case, your library specialist will help you rectify that somehow, some way, whether it's adding the interlinear or maybe switching to a different translation for your morphological studies. Okay. So if you can't figure that out as far as if you don't have it in your translation that you're trying to use, please just switch to the ESV for today, because I know all the ESVs have the interlinear, and it's going to be important that you see that. So if you're in a different translation, click this little arrow next to the cover and just switch to the ESV. ESV will be in this list somewhere. Might not be in the middle like mine, but it'll be here somewhere. You might have to scroll down to find it, but just switch to the ESV and then you'll have that interlinear and everything will be good. Any questions on that? If it's confusing or you have any questions, please just email me. We'll make sure we get you squared away. No problem there. Okay. All right. Excellent. So we've got the interlinear. All right. I'm going to turn it off for now. We're going to come back to it, but we're going to turn it off for now. All right. Now we've checked and seen that we've got the tools we need. All right. First, easiest way to see morphology here. Okay. It connects with that tool I showed you called the information tooltips tool that's in the text here. Okay. It connects with that. So the first easy way. All right. If you're used to morphology, you know morphology, you work with it a lot, and you're just trying to figure out without studying the words themselves what the morphology is, just go ahead and hover on a specific word. Okay, see that word loved? I'm hovering with my cursor right there. Now I'm leaving that cursor there, but I'm looking down toward the bottom of the screen, actually almost all the way to the bottom of the screen. You're going to see a little ribbon type menu that runs across. Okay, and it says agapao, and then it says verb, and then it says aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. There's your morphology. Verb, aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. So your morphology built right into the text, and it's driven by that interlinear. So remember, that interlinear is important. You won't see this if you don't have an interlinear, and you won't see this if you don't have that tooltips turned on. Make sure that that's turned on. Again, if you have any questions on this, you can ask it here today if you want to, but sometimes we answer those after class if they're need a little bit more detail. All right. So there you go. That's the first one. I call that the hover morph. I don't know if anybody else in Logos calls it that, but you're literally hovering on a word to display the morphology. So that's why I call it the hover morph. So I hover on that word and I get the morphology popping up below. All right. Let's look at the word gave. Same thing. Hover on it, look down below. Verb, aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. Okay. Begotten. That's an article. Accusative. Actually, the article is included there. Accusative, singular, masculine. Okay. So you've got, you've got your hover morph. Your morphology is built right into text, and you can just hover on a word and find it down there at the bottom. Okay. Now let's go back to the interlinear real quick. Okay. That was the easiest way to be able to find morphology, is just to go and hover on the word. Okay. And you can use that in the future too when you're checking things. You can use that as well. You might understand what a word means, or what grammar is used, but not know exactly. Use the hover morph for a quick connection there. All right. Let's go back to the interlinear and we'll turn it on. Now, in this menu, you're going to see some options in here. All right. One of the options that I have checked off here is morphology. So if I'm studying with my interlinear on, okay, that just means that the display is on. When the interlinear is installed in your Bible, when it's there, it doesn't matter if you have the display on or not. It's always there working for you. So if I have the display on and I'm reading with the display, and sometimes I use the interlinear to study with, there's the morphology right here. You're going to see it here, and it's represented by these letters that are abbreviations. Now, do I know what VAAI3S mean? Well, I probably will learn that over time, right, as I'm using it, but maybe I don't know what that is right away. So now we're going to use the hover morph technique again. We're just going to hover. I'm going to leave my cursor on that code there, the abbreviation, and look down below. In that little ribbon menu you see pop up again, it says verb, aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. So we've got the morphology right there as well. So you might be studying using your interlinear. There's call for that, definitely, to have it displayed. And if you do, you can choose to light up the morphology. If you're used to the letters, it's easy to see for you. Great. If not, just hover on it and the morphology will pop up on the bottom. Very easy for you. Okay, that's number 2. Now, What if we're not studying with the interlinear open? Now we have another tool. It's called the context menu. Some of you know what that is. Right click on the word you want to look at, you want to study, or you want to look at the morphology. Right click on it. There's a menu pops up. Okay, this is called the context menu. On the left side, we have options to study. And on the right side, we have tools to study those options with. So one of those options is the morphology. Okay, you can see those letters right there. Remember, we saw letters in the interlinear. They're right here as well. There's you should get a good description here right next to it. Verb, aorist, active, indicative, third. Now you see an ellipsis here. That means that there's more in there. There's more to this than just those indicators there. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on it. Okay, we're going to select the morphology. And then we're going to follow this little arrow into the right side. And we're just going to come up to the top here where it says morph and hover on it here. And it'll say verb, aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. So it spells it all out for you there. All right. So if you run out of room here, just go up to the top where it says morph and hover on it. Just like you did the hover morph before, you got it here, but it just shows you right in that same spot. Okay. Verb, aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. Now, what's cool about using the context menu is you can actually search for more instances of that in the scriptures. All right. So if you're looking in, if you want to find more instances, there's the code there, more instances of that usage in the New Testament. Just click here where it says search. And Logos will open up this little search for you, this little search, main search tool for you. It's a morphological search. You're looking for that specific morphology. And here are other places that's found. And you'll see the other translations too of the words that are used here. Okay, now these are all this is that morphology spread out all over all of the words. They could obviously they're not all the same Greek word. They're not all the same translation as you can see here, but the morphology matches all the way through. So that's why you've got 2,600 results here. All right. Now, what we could do is we could go in with that same context menu, select the morphology. I could go find that specific word, agapao, right? I could go find that word and search for that word with that specific morphology and see where else that is. So I'm going to click here, agapao. And here are all the other places in the New Testament where that word is used, agapao, and it's also matches the morphology. Now, it's not always translated the same. Actually, it is. It's just different variations of the word. So it's love or loved or loved. Yeah, so you've got either love or loved here. All right. So what we did was we searched for the same word, agapao, but I should say, additionally, the same grammar here. So you've got some options there if you use the context menu to be able to go in and find other places where that might be used. All right. So another tool that we have, that's the context menu. Another tool we have is called the info panel. And that is in our tools bin. Let's go into the tools bin here on the left. Click on it to open it. And here's the info panel. Looks like a little badge with an eye in the middle. And that's going to open up here on the side. Now, remember, with the context menu, we right click on the word. With the info panel, we left click on the word. And that's all it's doing is choosing that word. Okay. So now in this or in the info panel, we're getting some definitions here. And we also get some resources that those definitions come from. So we can check those out. But here's the word info section. And there's the morphology, okay, right in the middle here. So if we're looking for morphology, we see it here. Now, if I click on this, what's cool about the info panel is it gives you different tools to be able to study this, okay? So here, I'm hovering on it, and it says I'm going to launch. If I click on it, I'm going to launch a morph search for that morphology in my books. So if I click on it, now I'm going to get a search of all my books where that morphology might be used. If I close this arrow, these are mostly going to be Bibles. Okay, actually, there's a lot of different things in here. Not all Bibles, and there's 196,000 resource results. So yeah, so you can do a search right there if you want to. You can also remember that GMSDT resource I told you to check for. This is why, is because now you can also hover on the word verb and it gives me the meaning, gives me the definition. What is a verb? And you'll see in that little window, it says GMSDT. That's where it comes from. So verb is a word that describes an action, state of being, or the production of a result. What does aorist mean? Here's the meaning of aorist. Here's the meaning of active. So if you've forgotten or you never knew what those terms mean, you have definitions here. All right. And that comes from the GMSDT. All right. That's why it's so important that you have that in there. Okay. Okay. There's morphology for you inside your info panel. Now, remember, you can use any of these tools you want to. You can use them in connection with each other if you want to. You're going to, as you continue to study, you're going to find your favorite tools for your favorite studies, for the different types of studies that you're going to use. Just giving you some options here. Okay. We also have, close that out. We have an inline search inside the Bible you're in right now. So I can click here for search. And now we also have our new smart search here. So don't confuse this. We're looking for a precise search inside of here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Logos what I'm looking for in my scripture. All right. Instead of just checking out by hovering or choosing words and finding out what the morphology is, I'm going to tell Logos what morphology I'm looking for. All right. Now, here's the key to this search is the @ symbol on your keyboard. Okay. Now, different keyboards have that in different places. Most of them have it above the 2. It's in your 2 key. It's at the top, so you'll have to use your shift your shift button, and you want to put in this @ symbol. Okay. Now, when you put that @ symbol in, a part of speech menu is going to pop up. This allows you to choose by a label what morphology you're looking for. All right. So if I'm looking for verbs in this sentence, I can click on verb. Now Logos expands that menu, part of speech menu, and I see tense, voice, mood, person, number, case, gender. I can choose any of these or all of them if I want to. Whatever I want, I could just choose. So if I'm being very focused on something and I want to see imperfect, middle, imperative, second person verbs, I can choose all those if I want to. If I'm not being very picky, I just want to see the imperative verbs. I'm going to make sure that the verb is checked, obviously, and click on imperative. And you'll see those are both highlighted. As soon as I click on search, look what Logos does. It puts in this little code for me, this little morphological syntax, and then it finds it for me. So here are all my imperative verbs highlighted here in my New Testament. Okay. And I can change this. It says all passages right now. So right now I'm looking at all of the New Testament. I could change that to any book of the Bible, any section of a book of the Bible. If I want, in Psalm 119, I could put that in here. I can just type it in. So you can really focus in and see where this specific morphology is found. Okay. Again, what did I do? I'm going to clear this out first. Click X, clear it out. I went in and I just used that at symbol and it brought up my part of speech menu. Now, I want you to remember the @ symbol. I want you to remember the part of speech menu because we're going to show you that again in another tool. Okay. I heard somebody say, or I see somebody says, did we lose him? All right. Is everybody still there? I hope. Could you do me a favor in the chat and let me know? The last comment was at 11:12 that said, did we lose him? Can you please put in the chat, let me know that you're still here? Okay. Okay, Robert says still here. Okay, Kanita. Okay, all right, excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure somebody had lost me there. I want to make sure not everybody did. So here we go. So we're in. We did use that at symbol, right? We're going to go in and choose whatever we're looking for. Maybe we're looking for nouns here, and we want to know the subject of the sentence. So we choose nominative in Greek, right? Search. Here are all the subjects of the sentence in here. All right. God, judgment, light. Okay, your nominative nouns are here. So very easy to be able to go in and do this kind of stuff. Okay, as you can see here, hopefully. All right. So now we've seen these tools, right? We've seen all the tools. I want to go over really quick. I'm going to review very quickly, right? Hover morph. We are just going to hover on that word, and we're going to look down at the bottom. We're going to see that menu. Okay, that tells us what the morphology is, right? We can right click and open up our context menu, and we can see the morphology here. Okay, we can also search that morphology if we want to. Okay, we have our info panel. Go to the tools bin, info panel. Here's my info panel. This time, instead of right clicking, I need to left click on the word I'm looking for. And our word info is here. Here's our morphology. We have our inline search, which is I just showed you. Here's my search button here in the search tab. We're going to use the @ symbol and use our part of speech menu. Okay. Also have that interlinear. Okay. That's in the format or the view tab. Interlinear. I can turn that on and my morphology is checked. So that morphology will be here as well. Okay. So those are the ways that we showed you so far. The next one is a lot of fun and it's going to really help you a lot. These are called visual filters. That's what I'm going to show you next. Okay. Visual filters. And visual filters augment the text of a resource so they focus your attention on specific features in a resource. So it's going to augment the text. You're going to see what happens here. I'm going to go to Luke 22:31. And I'm going to turn on my visual filters. All right. I'm going to go to the formatting tab. And then over here, I see visual filters. Now, here's the thing. If you haven't built a visual filter yet, or you haven't imported a visual filter from our public document, then you're not going to see this tool. But don't worry about that because we're going to fix that for you here today. Okay. If you don't see this tool, don't worry about it. Just know that it's going to be here as soon as we get done building a visual filter for you. If you do see that, click the arrow and turn it on. And we'll look at the text now. Okay. When I said augmenting the text, that's exactly what I did here, right? I lit up pieces of the text that will give me visually, will show me different morphology here. All right. Now I can use those. I can use the visual filters for other things, but right now we're focusing on morphology. So if I look through here and I know what these colors mean, I'm going to know that this is an imperative verb. I'm going to know that this is the subject of the sentence. This is the subject noun. This is an indicative verb. This is an infinitive verb. This is a plural pronoun, right? So instead of just reading this and then trying to find out the grammar behind it, I can just turn on my visual filters and I can see what the grammar is before I even go to my hover morph or to any other tool that I have in here. I can look and see this. So Simon, behold, I know that that's pretty close to a command from Jesus. I better be listening to this while I'm reading this text. I better be listening. And hopefully Peter was listening intently then, because that's pretty much a command. I know that he's talking about Satan has demanded permission to sift. And how does he want him to sift? Like wheat, that's your direct object. That's your a subject in the sentence, right? This is an indicative. This is an infinitive. We know those types of things. All right, just pop up. We know this is a plural a pronoun. So we know that Jesus isn't just talking to Simon here. He's not just saying Satan wants permission to sift him like wheat. He wants permission to sift all of the disciples like wheat. like wheat, because that is plural. So these are very helpful for us to understand the different grammars that are inside the text. Now, let's look. We're going to start building some of these for you. Okay. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to leave it on, but I'm going to turn the individuals off. I can turn these on and off individually. I have a lot more visual filters in here, but I've only got 3 of them on. So I'm going to turn these all off, leave the tool on, but turn these all off. And now I'm going to show you, we're going to make this a half screen, and we're going to look and we're going to create a visual filter. All right. So let's click on Documents. This is where the tool is. So we're going to open up our Documents tab. We are going to click on the blue tab right here where it says New. Just click anywhere there. And then down here, third from the bottom is going to be Visual Filter. We are going to create a new visual filter. All right. Click on that. All right, we're going to we're going to create a morphological visual filter. Okay, so we're going to click on it. We're going to name it. Click on Untitled here, so it turns blue. We're going to name it. Normally, I use BA in front of mine, so I know what they are. So I'm going to put WB for webinar. And let's just do nouns, okay? Greek nouns. Okay, be simple. Tell yourself what you're making here. Don't be too complicated. You can call them whatever you want, but I'm just going to call this one WB for webinar Greek nouns. All right. Now, this next section here, we have to tell Logos where we're going to be searching for this and where we want it to display. Okay. So we're searching all the morph text. We're searching all of our passages, but I could change this. I could search in just Romans if I want to. If I click here, type in Romans if I want to, or John, or Matthew, or whatever. Okay, but I'm going to set this one to search all passages. I'm going to have this show up in all my books, not just a specific book, but in all my books. Okay, and then I need to tell Logos what morphological table I want the information to come from. Now we're looking up Greek nouns here. So Aramaic is not going to help us. So let's click on that. And you'll see all of the morphological tables, grammatical tables pop up here that we have to choose from. So I do have several Aramaic if I was looking for Aramaic, several Greek, several Hebrew, a Latin morphology table, a couple of Syriacs. So I could choose any of these to study from. Obviously, I want Greek. Now, if you're in seminary and you have a specific one for your seminary, go ahead and click on it if it shows here, if yours shows here. If you don't know what to use or your specific table doesn't pop up here, just click on the Logos Greek morphology. That will help out. That's pretty generic, and it's pretty valuable, pretty effective there. So just choose the Logos Greek morphology. Now, here is our search box. This is just like the search box we have up here, okay, where you use the @ symbol here. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to use the @ symbol. And we're going to choose from our part of speech menu. So we're going to go ahead and choose noun. And we're going to choose nominative because that's what we're looking for. And then we have to tell Logos how to show it to me in the text here, okay? So how do I want to see that in the text? You can use any of these colors, okay? Now, I've created some custom ones that I like to use for this purpose. So I'm going to scroll down till I get to those. And you will see those here shortly. There they are. Biblical Greek, I have them called. So we're going to go with Greek nominative, right? Now, watch over in my Bible. Look at that. Already, this visual filter has been installed in this Bible. And if I look into that section where my filters are, you'll see right there, it's been added already. So now, if you followed me here, you'll now see that tool show up in your Bible. Okay. All right, let's add another one. Let's do all the let's do a few of the nouns. We'll do noun. How about accusative? and then we'll choose the accusative format. I'm going to scroll down till I get there. There it is. And you'll see those pop up in here. There you go. There's some accusative. So those are the direct object of the sentence. And let's do another one. Noun. Let's do dative. How do I want to see it? I'm going to scroll down till I get to my specific color. There it is. And you'll see those pop up. I didn't see any pop up, but that's just me. There we go. There's one, agony. And let's do one more. Let's do also our genitive nouns. Okay. Now you'll see also, you see how when I hovered on this, you see the definition there? That comes from that resource that I told you about, that GMSDT. So that information, if you forget what dative means, hover on it. Accusative, what does it mean? Right? You can just click on it, or you can just hover on it. It will tell you. Okay, so now I got genitive, and I got to tell Logos how to show that to me in the text. So I'm going to scroll down to genitive. There we go. And there we go. I just told Logos how to show me. I told Logos what to show me, how to show it to me. Now remember, you can use any of these come from your highlighting tool. So you can use any of the ones in your highlighting tool, and Logos gives you all those options here. You don't have to worry about copying mine if you don't want to. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to share this with you later. Okay, so you're going to have these, you will have these fonts later. All right, these highlighting styles later on. You'll have them in there if you want to use them. Okay, but for now, go ahead and choose something else. If you're building this with me, just choose whatever so that it lights up the text for you. All right, so here we go. There's our nouns, right? Logos already saved this for me. I don't even have to worry about saving it on my own. I'm going to close it out, and I'm going to build another one. So if you have the new Logos that I have, Logos Max, Pro, or Premium, you can just go right back to that visual filter tool and click here where it says Make New Visual Filter. Click on it, and now we can make a new one. If you have Logos 10 or 9, or I don't know if 8 has these tools in it, but if you have an older version, you'll have to go back to the document section, click on New, and then click on Visual Filter and build your filter that way. All right. But if you're in the new Logos, it's right there in your toolbar. Okay. We'll click on Morph again. This time we're going to build WB Greek verbs. Okay. Now we got to tell Logos, remember, where we're going to look and where to grab the information from and where to show the information. And that is all morph text, all passages. We're going to show it in all of our books. And we have to pick the table. So we're going to go to Logos Greek Morphology again. We go to our search section and we hit that at symbol. Here's my part of speech menu. We're going to choose verb. We're going to choose imperative. Okay, telling Logos what we want. Remember, you can get as detailed as you want, all the way up to all of these different options: tense, voice, mood, person, number, case, gender. You can choose all these. You can get as deep as you want, focused as you want. I'm just choosing the basics here to show you how it works. All right, so Logos loads the syntax, just like it did over here in the search. And I'm going to tell Logos how to show that to me. Now I'm going to scroll down till I get to on fire, because that's my favorite imperative highlighting tool or highlighting format. And we go at symbol again. We choose verb again. This time we'll choose indicative verb. How do I want to see it in the text? We'll just go orange. We'll do another one. We'll do verb again. We'll do participle verb this time, and we'll show that in blue. So you see the codes that are being made here, the syntax, as I use my part of speech menu. Access it with the @ symbol. Part of speech menu. Choose your part of speech. Then choose all of these options or one or more of these if you want to. Infinitive, and then choose the formatting. All right. You saw how they're all building in here, right? It's all adding in here. There's my imperative verb. There's another imperative. There's my indicative, my infinitive, my participle verb. So I've got all of those built in there. And then let's go back to the tool itself and see how Logos has added these two. Once I started creating them, the very first option here that was created added this to my visual filters and added it to the text itself. And remember, you can turn these on and off if you want to individually, or you can turn off the tool itself. However you want. It's up to you. All right. Then when you start reading this, it's going to make a lot more sense just visually to you. You're just I got to pay attention here. All right. I know that Satan is the subject of this sentence. And what's he trying to do? He wants to sift you like wheat, right? So that's what he wants to do. What does that mean? You guys will have to dig into that and find out what that means, because it's really important that you do. So dig into that. However, there are your visual filters. That's how you build them. Okay. There are other ways to build visual filters. Let me show you that as well. Okay. I'm going to close my, we'll leave our Bible. We'll open it up wide. You can build a visual filter via search as well. So I'm going to click on search. I am going to search in my Bible, okay, for specific things. I'm going to search for, let's just say Greek and studying it in Logos. And a transliteration of a word. All right. You're looking for a specific word and the transliteration. Actually, it shows how to do this here. Type G or H, Greek or Hebrew, then type the transliterated word. So I'm going to go G : and then I'm just going to say doulos. Start typing doulos in. It pops up here in my search. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this lemma, doulos. Click on it. Now, here are all the places in the Bible where I see that word doulos. Actually, it's translated as slave here. It might be translated as something else further down, and definitely in other translations. But doulos pops up here in all these places. If I want to make a visual filter so that automatically pops for me, I can come over to my panel menu. This is how I access the panel menu, these three dots. And I can say, save it as a visual filter. Click on it. All right. Now I just have to name it. Let's go WB doulos. And I just have to tell Logos how I want to see it. How do I want to see it? I'll just go with, for right now, we'll just do this color box. Okay. Now, where do I see it? I see it in Matthew 8, 10. So Matthew 10, I see it a couple times. Let's go to Matthew 10. Oops. Wait. Matthew 10. Yeah. 10, 24. And there it is. Pops up for me. So automatically, I can go into my visual filter tool and see, there it is. Automatically, that's been built for me. Okay. We can also go in and do a search. Instead of doulos, we can do, how about Son of Man? Right. Now we're looking for that phrase, Son of Man. We find it in our search. All these places in our search have that word Son of Man. We go to the three dots, save as visual filter. Logos will open this for us. We just have to name it, right? WB, Son of Man. And now tell Logos how we want to see it. Let's just use this green color here. Go back to our search and we see it's in Numbers. We see it a couple times in Job, right? So let's go to Job 25. And there it is. Son of Man pops up here. Let's see further down. I think Job 30 also we saw that, right? Job 30. There should be Son of Man in there somewhere. I guess not. Where else is there? Oh, 35. So we can go to Psalm 8:4. There it is, Son of Man. We can go to Psalm 80, Son of Man. So we built a Son of Man filter as well. There it is, WB Son of Man. Okay. So visual filters are very good for morphology, but you can use those for other things like this phrase son of man. That's not a morphology filter, right? Actually, doulos is not a morphology filter either, really. It's just a word. So we see that in there. Okay. Easy to do. You should be able to do it. Now, before I answer questions, I want to share one more thing with you. Okay. Let's close this out, these two out. I want to show you how you can find some more of these. I'm going to go into my documents tab. Okay. There are lots of visual filters in your documents, in the public documents folder. So go to documents and click on public. Okay. Let it load. It takes a second because there's a ton of them. There's a lot of them. And then you can just go choose visual filter. See how it says 1400? There's 1400 visual filters in the public file, or the public domain, I guess you could say. All of these are available to you. You can just go in, right click on any one, and it says add to your docs. That's all you got to do. Add to your docs. It'll add to your Logos software, and you can use it inside your Bible. Okay. Any one of these. Now I've got some specific ones for you. So in the search box, I wanted to make sure you followed me here. Make sure you go to documents. Make sure you click on the public file. All right. Then when I went in here, I filtered by visual filter. So you'll see, let's let this load again real quick. See type here. You want to filter by visual filter. You want to choose visual filter. Now, once you've done that, I want you to type in here BA and a space. All right. These are all mine that I have shared with the public, and you can use any one of these. Okay. The one I showed you today, the nouns, that one has those specific formatting choices in it. If you add this, you will add those formats as well. Those will be available to you for you to use in the future. All right. And you'll see how I put them together and built them. Now, that third document I had you save, that is a key so that you understand what these are. And you can have any of these, obviously. Just right click add to your docs. If for some reason you don't have a right click function, just left click on it and click add to your docs up here at the top. Okay, but everybody should have right click function. So right click, add to your docs. Okay, any one of these that you want, or all of them if you want to. And then they're listed on the third handout I gave you as to what they are and how they're built. Okay, this should help you with morphology. It'll help you with visual filters. These are awesome. I love visual filters. Okay, there's a lot of questions. If you cannot stay for the questions, please go ahead and take the survey first and then watch your email later for the link to watch the video again. Okay, to view the video later on. All right, so if you can't stay, so let's start answering some questions. Lee says, is there a way to darken that highlight? I can barely see it. You can choose different highlights. If you don't know how to create custom highlights, Lee, come to my class that's called Capturing Reflections and Insights with Notes. I teach you how to create your own highlights there. Okay. All right. Ernest says, we hear you. Lee says you're good. Wayne says, is there a way to start with a clean text without visual filters each time you want to. Can I turn them on? Yes, Wayne, you should have seen you can turn them on and off right from the tool themselves. So yes, you can turn them all off, or you can turn on and off individually. Okay, so if I don't want Son of Man on, but I want all the other ones on, I'm just going to uncheck Son of Man, and that one goes away. Okay. All right. Ernestine says, I don't have the home search notes tab at the top. Can you please help me after class? Ernestine, that means you have one of the older versions of Logos. Okay. So you have a different toolbar than you have up here. All right. So yes, I can try to help you later. Now, I don't have a copy of the older versions, but I'll try to figure that out for you. So just send me an email later, Ernestine, and we'll try to help you out with that. Okay. David says, when you were building the morph criteria in the morph search window, why does it not default to an at automatically instead of having to type it? The reason is because this is not just a morphological search. You can search for other things as well. And it's actually, it should be let's see. I don't know why it's not in the Psalms here, but if we go to Luke 22:31, you'll see, let's see, where did that Bible search go? Anyway, there's, you can type in words here too. Okay, not just looking for morphology. You can type in other things. So the at symbol tells Logos you're looking for morphology. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It should. Bill McFadden says, need to be more specific in your commands and comments after 40 minutes into the lesson. Need to slow down. I think I tried to go slow. So sorry about that, Bill, if you weren't able to follow through. I was trying to make sure I went slow. If you have questions, please just let me know, and I'll try to help you out all I can. How does the BANT user sounds complex? Steve, just look at that. You can download it from our documents, remember, and look and compare that to the handout I gave you. It should explain it. If you have any questions on that, just send me an email and I'll make sure you get the answers. And Lynn says, do your filter lists conflict with precepts lists? I don't know what that means, Lynn. If you want to, go ahead and send me an email and I'll try to answer that question outside of the email. All right. All right, great. Thank you so much for being here. We got through the questions. I'm excited about that. And hey, Matt actually answered Bill McFadden as well on the speed. So that's good. Thank you for that, Matt Foley. All right, excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to turn my camera back on. Not that you need to see me, but just so you know, I'm still here. And let's get our slides here. Please make sure you take the survey. Don't forget that before you go. Very important. There's my email address. If you need anything, email me, let me know. And or if you have nice comments, you want to send that, you can do that too. I get those from people too. If you need anything from the library specialist, definitely call them. They'll be able to talk you through some of the similar things that I've done here, but they're more for questions about your resources and about what Logos version you have, where I'm more of the questions on how do I use it type of thing. All right. All right. Excellent. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you again later in the week. If not, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.